My name is Kelly, and I am a member of the customer success team here at SpiderOak. Today, I thank you for joining me as we're going to be doing a new user webinar, basically covering the basics from account creation to performing initial backup, managing those backups. Also, we'll go over data recovery, how SpiderOak One acts as ransomware protection via the historical versions. So first things first, as I promised, we will go ahead and start with account creation. I am setting up my screen to share. And away we go. Great. So reviewing here, SpiderOak One setup. Pretty straightforward. Let me see if I remember my... There we go. Perfect. Excellent. So we'll go ahead and start with the account creation. This is a fresh account. Computer name it whatever you want. It is important to note your computer name as it's going to be important moving forward when you add multiple devices. So I'm sure, as we all know, we create the account within the application. Doing so ensures that the account information is encrypted from the very beginning before it's sent to our server. We do not create accounts through your web browser or web portal specifically for this reason. Now, if we were, for instance, adding a new device or reinstalling this device to an active account, we would need to pass through what's called syndication. It's a 10-step process that runs when you are adding additional new devices to your SpiderOak account or reinstalling, as I stated. This process basically downloads all the necessary account information and metadata to your new device so that your new device can see what information exists on your other devices and communicate with them as well. For instance, we pass through our initial startup, and let's go ahead and go to the dashboard. Now, the dashboard tab, also formerly known as the Home tab. This is typically the first screen that you will see launching SpiderOak One other than the Backup tab. Everything in SpiderOak One starts with your backup, right? And the dashboard tab will show you the status of SpiderOak One's features, such as backup. We see my backup just completed here. That was my initial backup. I have some things previously in the SpiderOak Hive folder. Let me see here, just one moment. Great. We can check our sync activity here. Sync's complete. Share activity there. No shares are currently set up. As I stated, this is a fresh account. But the great thing about the dashboard tab is you have your pause uploads, your clear upload queue button, but most importantly, you have your sub tabs. The overview is the only tab with these two. These are good to note in case maybe your device has having an issue with a stalled upload. Maybe you selected some application data or system files to back up. This is where the clear upload queue button would come in handy. As I stated, these are only located under the overview tab. Next, you can see activity. Activity tab has the uploads and notable events. If I had checked this while my initial backup was taking place, we would have seen it doing some activity. Next, we have actions. This has recent account activity. This isn't necessarily going to show you the status of your upload taking place. This shows you more of when the encryption is taking place, deduplication, and account-based activity. So for instance, if you're removing data, your data queued to be removed would show up here as well. The completed, look at that. We had some quite a few tests here as well. So have those on here. And finally, the details tab, which shows us any details tab basically provides a detailed overview of your SpiderOak One device and account in general. It can tell you size of all stored files, pre-duplication, pre-deduplication, and pre-compression as well, total folders, total versions of files that are backed up, and your top 50 space-consuming journals. So that's basically just a brief overview of the dashboard tab. I would like to touch base here on the preferences option moving forward. See here, great. So the preferences option has some great choices and options that you can use to kind of customize your SpiderOak One experience. For instance, here we have Launch SpiderOak One Minimized. One of my personal favorites is Ask for Password at Startup. This will password protect the application, not allow people to modify your backup sets or download your data without having your password entered. Of course, there are some other ones here. Disable the SpiderOak I folder on this device. It's certainly an option. I also like reviewing the Schedule tab as well. This way you can set up your backup scheduling, your sync share scheduling as well. Proxy settings. The backup tab can limit your backups. For instance, you can select these, modify them. Whoops, there we go. Save, we're good. So now that we kind of covered the preferences there, I would like to mention using any software as a service. There are moments that you need to update billing information. Maybe even update your email address or change the plan you're on. So I will show you how to access your account page. There are two ways to access your account page. First and foremost, go here, account. The account button is right next to the preferences, in between preferences and help. You would go down to credit card / billing information. This is a new trial account, so I have no problem with doing so here. KS, blah, 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 and there we go. You can cancel your account, update your email address, change your plan. I'm currently on the trial, free trial, tells me when it will end. There I would update any billing info, anything like that. So that's one way to reach your account page as well. Either of these edits will do so. Also, simply by clicking upgrade. That's the other way you can reach your billing page. Same way, got me here. I didn't have to input any of my account information through the web portal, which is excellent. Next, now that we kind of covered the account page, I feel it's important to mention, let's talk about backup. That's why we have this tool, first and foremost. SpiderOak One is an end-to-end encrypted selective backup tool. It has several features such as sync, share room, share links. Sync, share room, share links, they are all dependent on a successful backup. And before you can use those features, your data needs to be backed up. Now that we kind of covered the layout, the preferences, the account dashboard, let's talk about backup. So first way, the easiest way to actually back up, as we see created on my desktop here, is the SpiderOak I folder. These are all files I've created previously that were in my old test Hive account. I'll delete those for now, and we can actually see what takes place. But right now, I will show you basically the ease of use here, creating a test file on my desktop. Let's reopen the application here. Okay, easy enough. We can go to my Manage tab. You'll notice I'll have a deleted items, have some items in there. Let's go here. Boo, boo, boo. Great. My SpiderOak I folder's there. So what I will do, I'll simply drag and drop my test file into the Hive folder. We can shoot back to the dashboard page here. And I will select the Run Now option, which will force the backup to take place. Hive, Test.txt. Actions. Completed. Cool. So that is the very basic. If I go to my regular device now, SpiderOak I, test.txt is here. One thing I do wish to mention is we have another option of selecting backup as well. Let me move through here. For instance, let's say I wish to back up my test file that is located on my desktop. I can simply just navigate to my desktop alone, and you will be able to see here the test.txt file. I'll select that file. Whoops. There we go. We'll hit save there. Move over to dashboard. Let's hit run now. Backing up 2 items. Nope, my desktop and desktop. I accidentally selected the entire desktop. Whoops. We will remove that. There we go. Excellent. So now we'll see right there, test.txt is located under my desktop. That was just from navigating under here to the folder that I wanted to access, or the file that I wanted to include in my backup. As you noticed, I selected the save option. Very important when making a manual backup selection under the backup tab, or else it will not save. I have been selecting run now just to kind of kickstart SpiderOak One to see these instant changes that I am making. Those are the 2 options of selecting your backup, the Hive folder, and then doing so within the application under the backup tab. I feel it is important to mention that SpiderOak One is designed to back up your personal files, such as documents, music, photos, and videos. It is not designed to back up application data or operating system data, system files, anything like that. That information, application and system data is constantly changing. Same with database files as well. So SpiderOak One can get stuck in a never-ending loop of trying to back it up before it changes yet again. These are the results of your computer resources, processor, memory, battery, hard disk access, even getting tied up in kind of a hopeless, unending task. And SpiderOak One then never has a chance to actually back up those important files. So it is important to be kind of very selective when you are manually choosing your backup set, if you plan to go that route and avoid the Hive folder. So those are kind of the basics of the backup tab. Very straightforward, very simple. I am just going to briefly touch base here on the sync and share tab as well. This is our sync tab. As you see, SpiderOak I is there. SpiderOak I is a pre-created sync. So anytime you add a device to your SpiderOak account, so you install the application, sign into your account on a new device, the SpiderOak I folder is instantly created as we see it here. It's created, installed typically on the desktop with the shortcut on the desktop. And SpiderOak I acts as a drag and drop and sync. So, for instance, this test file that I created previously will be syncing to any other device that I add to my account and choose to use the SpiderOak I on. Previously, under Preferences, as I stated, you can disable the SpiderOak I folder on this device by checking it. I'm not going to do so right now, just for test purposes. But you can create custom syncs. You name the sync, move forward. You actually need to upload your folders first that you are planning to sync together. So keep that in mind. As I stated previously, successful sync and share are dependent on a backup. Next, I'll move over to the share tab. You will have to create a share ID. As it states, share ID is a public username. Let's just say Shareville. Okay, share ID in use. Uh-oh, that's not good. Shared stuff. Registering shared ID in use. Oh man, you got to be selective here. Kel shares things. Let's do that. There we go. Great. So now you can create a new share. You would name it at that point. Give it the folder name. As you see, when you modify the folder name, this actually modifies your link that will take you directly to the share room. Great. Tells you if it's active, pending, inactive. The only time you would see it maybe inactive is if there was a billing issue for whatever reason. Excellent pop-ups in our reskin. What we are looking at right now is version 7.0, a redesign from our design team. They've really just made some excellent steps here moving forward. Easier on the eyes, I'd say, with the white and light blue as well. So let's say, yes, let's go. Next up, the Manage tab. Now that we know how to back up, we briefly touched on sync, shares, things like that. How do we manage those backup sets? So, as I stated previously, we have our desktop right here. We have our Hive folder as well, both with our test files. Excellent. So anything that you back up to your SpiderOak One account will be accessible under the Manage tab. Actually checking the Manage tab for your files that you've selected for backup is the best way, in my opinion, to confirm that your backup is complete. You see my device name up here. See kind of the folder, the directory hierarchy here. We have the Hive, my test files. So SpiderOak One, we do offer ransomware protection, and it's important to kind of show you today how we can perform that protection here. So by selecting or highlighting a file, we see the History tab on the right-hand side. Let me see here if we can maybe make a change to this one. Test again. There we go. File save. Go here, run now. Hey. Building, finalizing. There it goes, completed. Great. So now under the Manage tab, that I've made a change to a file that's currently being backed up by SpiderOak One. You see there is a number next to it. This appears on both as a historical version. So let's say this is the attacked copy of my data. Let's say that SpiderOak One was running while ransomware had hit. And even if the latest version of ransomware had backed up to my SpiderOak One account, well, simply just roll back to the previous version, the one that I know for sure is unaffected. I would hit the download button. Can even remove this version if I wish. Let's say I don't want to download it to this device. I could simply log into SpiderOak One on another device or create a share link. And the share link basically is a link that's good for over the span of about 72 hours. And this link, we would just, I don't know, message it to ourselves, semaphore, message it to ourselves, email it to ourselves. That way we can access our data appropriately from the new device. So that's just kind of how historical versions work, items like that. Previously, I do want to speak just briefly about the deleted items bin as well. The deleted items bin is currently full of stuff that I had removed locally, but I would like to show it in action at this time. So we have my test file right here on the desktop. So let's go ahead and remove that locally, see what happens. Okay, we're just waiting for that change to take effect, show up under the Manage tab. let's remove it from here as well, since it is technically the same item. Okay. So under our device here, currently, you will see that basically to protect against accidental and malicious deletion, SpiderOak One does not delete its copy of the files that it believes may have been deleted on your device locally. So instead, it moves them to the deleted items bin. Also, with the deleted items bin, now we see here, the deleted items bin is never emptied automatically. As you can tell, I have several items here. Go ahead and download that back. Okay, so as we see, the deleted items bin is never emptied automatically. So this is very useful when it comes to data recovery and making sure that you can still access that data that maybe locally is gone and you're no longer able to see it. So that's just a very brief overview of SpiderOak One. It's kind of the basics I wanted to touch base on today. I do appreciate everyone's time. I'm sorry this one certainly did run a little long, so I do apologize for that. We just want everyone to know that there are steps we can all take to be a little more conscious and take our own privacy and security into our own hands. Once again, I apologize for running a little long today. Of course, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out at support.spideroak.com. Once again, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time and have a great rest of your week.